We are back, and my wife and I caught a matinee over the weekend, and it was The Fall Guy. I really enjoyed the film. My wife and I had a blast the whole way through. I was a fan of the original show back in the day, and yes, I had that poster of Heather Thomas on my wall. And in the 80s, we were blessed with many shows like Knight Rider, The Dukes of Hazzard, The A-Team, Airwolf, and yes, The Fall Guy. If it had a vehicle in it or something that jumped, oh man, jumped cars. I mean, come on. It was just gold. The original TV show had Lee Majors, Douglas Barr, Heather Thomas, Marky Post, some real classic 80s stars. I had the privilege to work on a film, a made-for-TV movie that was directed by Douglas Barr, and I got to talk to Doug, and we talked about The Fall Guy, and he was amazing. So I was disappointed that he didn't make a cameo in the film, but we got some other cool cameos. We enjoyed this film. We enjoyed the soundtrack. The original song that was originally sung by Lee Majors, they updated it. Blake Shelton covered the song and did a fantastic job. All of the Kiss music that was throughout the film, Taylor Swift. There was so many good songs in this movie. It made all the scenes. Ryan Gosslin just crushed this movie. Emily Blunt was fantastic. I had the opportunity to work on a movie called Arthur Newman, and Emily Blunt was amazing to the cast and crew on that film. So you start to see a lot of familiar faces, and the action was fantastic. It wasn't over the top like John Wick. These were like, they showcased a lot of what I would call classic stunts into airbags, free falls off a building, hence The Fall Guy, and car, jumps and just the classic stuff. There wasn't a lot of the John Wick fighting. And even when Colt Seavers, which was played by Ryan Gosslin, was on his little mini adventure within the film. Basically, in the original TV show, Colt Seavers was like a bounty hunter or like a private eye type guy where they would go send him off on these little missions when he wasn't, doing stunts on a feature film. So long story short, kind of the same thing happens to Colt Seavers in this one. And he is sent on a little mini mission, and then of course it blows up into something huge. Aaron Taylor Johnson played the character of like the actor who Ryan was the stunt double for, and did a great job being that over the top actor. All of the different characters in this were very over the top than what they would be in real life. I have to say, some of the behind the scenes filming of the different people when the cast was like, the PAs would bring them coffee, and everything was so fast paced in some of these setup sequences. It doesn't happen like that on a real movie, but for pacing reasons, why I get why they made it seem like movie sets were so hectic and everybody was all over the place, and all that for dramatic purposes and for comedy, because this is a rom-com, but nothing works that fast on a feature film. Winston Duke was fantastic in this. I've not seen Winston Duke do a bad movie or act in a bad, like Winston Duke is, when I see him in the credits, or I see him on a poster, or I know he's in the movie, the guy's just, he picks these great roles, top tier stuff. It was nice to see the press junket for this movie where you would see them talk about all the stunts. I avoided watching any of that stuff until after I'd seen the film. This way I could be like, okay, yeah, all right, I get it. But what was really cool, just like some of the old Cannonball Run movies and stuff, they would show in the credits at the end the stunts. They would have the window off to the side and show the behind the scenes, which I thought was fantastic. There's a great, spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear anything more further than this, I'll give you a second. Okay, if you go on IMDb, you can see in the credits that Heather Thomas as well as Lee Majors are credited in the film. Lee Majors is credited as the Fall Guy, which I thought was great because Ryan Gosling is credited as Colt Seavers. And yes, Jodie Banks is the character of Heather Thomas, and they had cameos in the film. I thought was perfect because it said previously on The Fall Guy, and then it showed the scene, and I was so happy about that. And as the credits rolled, the Blake Shelton song, which they changed the lyrics a little bit, and I get it because in the TV show, they talked about Eastwood and they named all these celebrities as the song goes on, and I think maybe they probably were going to run into issues with that. So there was some rewrites on the song, but Blake Shelton did a great job. This movie is a 10 for me, just for popcorn fun. My wife and I got pretzels, we got popcorn, we got drinks. We had a blast. It wasn't a 3-hour snooze fest. The movie pacing I thought was really good. It slowed down in the right spots, but when it ramped up, and the third act is just so crazy. Like, you just have to just go in, check your mind at the door, know you're going to see crazy stunts, and just have a blast with this. Ryan Gosslin is such a good actor and pulls off all of these things flawlessly. His comical timing, his emotions. This movie was great. Go see it, have fun, check your mind at the door, and we'll see you on the next one.